I'd always thought the mountains were the one place I'd be safe from HOA nonsense. I was wrong. My cabin sits on the edge of Pine Lake, tucked between towering pines and the glittering water. For years it had been my retreat from the world. A place to breathe mountain air, fish at dawn, and forget emails existed. Then Karen Montgomery rolled in. She arrived in our quiet lakeside community like a tornado wearing pearls. Elected president of the newly formed Pine Lake HOA, she wasted no time slapping rules on everything. Lawn height, fence color, porch furniture. She even tried banning wind chimes because they were too whimsical. I kept my distance. I paid my dues and left everyone alone. But my cabin, built by my grandfather, has a rustic charm. It's all cedar logs, rough-hewn beams, and a stone chimney. The HOA's shiny new rulebook called it non-conforming architecture. Karen predictably hated it. One afternoon, I found a bright neon notice nailed to my front door. This structure does not meet Pine Lake HOA standards. You have 72 hours to demolish or face fines of $500 per day. My coffee nearly sprayed the glass as I read it. Demolish my cabin? The place my family built in the 1940s? Over Karen's precious HOA aesthetic? No way. I stormed down to the HOA office, which was now housed in what used to be old Mr. Jenkins' bait shop. Karen was inside, wearing her yellow HOA blazer like she was the mayor of New York City. "Karen," I said, slamming the notice on her desk. "Explain this." She peered over her reading glasses. "Your cabin doesn't fit the neighborhood character. Log cabins look rustic. We're going for a modern lakeside community vibe." I gaped. "This is the mountains. Rustic is the vibe." Karen sniffed. "You have 72 hours. I left fuming. But halfway back to my cabin, an idea sparked. See, what Karen didn't know was that I owned the land under the HOA office and the shops next door. Decades ago, my grandfather bought up lakefront parcels. When the HOA started forming, they signed commercial leases on my property without realizing who their landlord was. So that night, while the stars blazed over Pine Lake, I poured myself a glass of bourbon and pulled out the lease agreements. A tiny clause in bold print read, "Landlord reserves the right to adjust rent once annually at landlord's sole discretion." The rent had been a sweetheart deal. Dirt cheap, barely enough to cover taxes. I'd left it alone for years out of neighborly goodwill. But goodwill has limits. The next morning I sent official notices to the HOA office and all connected businesses. Effective immediately, monthly rent is increased by 300%. Payable within 30 days. An hour later, Karen came tearing up my gravel drive in her white Lexus, HOA badge swinging like a sheriff's star. "You can't do this," she shrieked, waving my letter. I leaned against the porch railing, calm as a summer breeze. "Actually, I can. It's in your lease." Her face turned a shade of red usually reserved for tomatoes. "We'll take you to court." "Be my guest," I said. "I'll tell the judge about how you're trying to demolish my family cabin for being too rustic. I'm sure the local paper would love that story." She stared at me, sputtering. "This isn't over." "Oh, I think it might be." By the next HOA meeting, the mood had shifted. The shop owners in the same building as the HOA were furious, because they'd have to pay triple rent too. The bakery owner screamed about losing her profit margin. The fishing guide threatened to sue. Karen tried to calm them down, but the crowd turned on her like angry hornets. 3 days later, a new notice appeared on my door. "The Pine Lake HOA hereby withdraws the demolition order regarding your cabin." Victory tasted sweet. So did the fresh cinnamon buns the bakery owner brought me as a thank you. Karen's still president for now, but she avoids my porch like it's radioactive. My cabin stands, logs and all, overlooking Pine Lake, stubborn as ever. Turns out the mountains are a place I'm safe from HOA nonsense. As long as I'm the landlord.